Okay, we are ready for math, and today we are on page 309 and 310, and we are talking about quotients less than 1. Quotients less than 1. Okay, so let's start here, and we're going to talk about something today called annexing a zero. Annexing a zero. Now remember, in decimals, you can add zeros to behind a number for as many as you want, and it doesn't change the number. But it is going to help us to be able to divide when we reach the end and we're stuck. Because when you have decimals, you don't say remainder so and so, because that's what a decimal is. So we need to have a way to express it in decimals. So let's do a couple of these together. We're also practicing remembering how to check. So if I do 4 goes into 6 once, and I put the 4 down here, and I subtract, that gives me 2, and I bring down the other 2. I put the decimal there. 4 goes into 22 5 times. 20. Now, here's where they didn't have you do this yesterday. You have a remainder. So what do? I can't have 1 5/10 with a remainder 2, because that's the whole point of having a decimal. So what I do is I extend the number by adding a 0. Because remember, I can add zeros to the back of a decimal without changing it at all. And then I just bring that 0 right down. 4 goes into 20 5 times. And then that makes it even. So I can I'm not going to write any more down there because I'm running out of room. But that would be the end of our answer, is 1 and 55 hundredths. So you would take that to check. You would take that and multiply it times 4. And that's how you would check. Okay, so go ahead and do that and make sure you check it. Now, let's try this one. 5 goes into 8 once. I put the 5 there. I get a 3. I bring down the 4. 5 goes into 34. I put my decimal there. 5 goes into 34 6 times. Put my 30 underneath. Bring down, subtract. Now I bring down that 5 that's over there. And 5 goes into 45 9 times, no remainder. So to check, you put your 1 and 69 hundredths times 5. And then you multiply that over here. Okay? Now let's practice doing the 0 thing again. So 4 goes into 26 6 times, but not evenly. It goes in 6 times, but I have a remainder of 2. Now here's the problem. This number doesn't have a decimal. So can I just add a 0 to it? The answer is no yet. Okay, you can't do it yet. What do I need to do? Remember, behind a whole number, there's always a decimal waiting to come up. So we can pull that decimal up, add it here, and then add a 0 that we can bring down. Now 4 goes into 20 5 times. And then you would check by multiplying 6 and 5 tenths times 4. Okay, that's a times. Now, 8 goes into 78 9 times, but not evenly. we're going to have a remainder of 6. So we need to add a decimal, add a 0, bring that 0 down. 8 goes into 60 7 times. We would subtract, get a 4. We still have a leftover, so we're going to keep adding zeros until we don't have any leftover, because you cannot just say remainder on decimals, okay? So we're going to keep adding zeros till you don't have a remainder. Now it goes in 5 and there will be no remainder because 8 times 5 is 40. So to check, you're going to put 9 and 75 hundredths over here, and you are going to multiply it times that 8. And I keep freezing. Okay. Now, so you're going to do the same thing down here. You're going to divide. When it doesn't divide evenly, you're going to add that 0 to the back and keep dividing until you don't have any leftovers. Okay, that's all we're doing. And remember, on this one, like number 7, there's no decimal there already. You add it to the back of that 14. On this one, there's no decimal. You add it to the back of that 86. Okay? And you just keep adding zeros to the end as much as you need it. If you don't need it, don't add them. Okay? But if you need it to divide evenly, keep adding zeros to the end. Okay. Now, let's look at the bottom. The decimal value of a fraction can be found by dividing the numerator by the denominator. And then you add zeros to solve if you need to. For example, if I want to know what the decimal for 1/4 is, okay, I'm going to divide 4. I may need a clean sheet of paper here. I'm going to take my 4 and divide it into 1. Well, what's the problem? I can't do 4 into 1, so I'm going to add the decimal. 4 goes into 10 twice, but then I have a remainder of 2, so I add another 0, bring that 0 down. 4 goes into 20 5 times. So the decimal equivalent to 1/4 is 25 hundredths. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to take 4 and I'm going to divide it into 3. I can't do that, so I'm going to add a decimal and a 0. And then I'm going to see that that goes in 7 times. I'm going to have a leftover of 2, so I'm going to have to keep adding zeros. I'm going to add another 0. 4 goes into 25 times. So 3/4 is 75 hundredths. Okay? And I could have figured that out based on this one. But you can also do it by dividing the bottom into the top. The bottom into the top. I'm going to look for a YouTube tutorial if I can and send you another help for this if you're still struggling in some ways. But all you're doing is taking that bottom number and dividing it into the top number. And because the top number is too small, you're going to have to add a decimal and then zeros until it comes out even. Okay? All right, now let's look and see what the back has. Circle the digit in the place. Pay attention. Tenths, TH, thousandths, ones, and hundredths. Okay, circle the place. Write the decimal in fraction form. Remember, we're putting the decimal above the place that it's in. So this is in the tenths, hundredths. So this is 7 over 100. If it has a number in front, that is the whole number, 1. And then the part is 786 over 1,000. Okay? We're comparing. Let's see. 0.5 and a half. 0.5 and a half. Well, that's 0.5 out of 10. So that is the same, isn't it? This is a whole number 1, and this doesn't have a 1 in the whole place. So what's bigger? The 1 is bigger. This is 4.5, and this is 4.0. Even though there's a 5 here later, in the tenths place, this one has more. So this is bigger. 15, 16. 16 is bigger. It doesn't matter if there's a decimal after that 15. 75 hundredths. That's 7 hundredths. 75 is bigger. 8 one-hundredths and 8 one-hundredths equal. And look there, we just did a little bit more than we were supposed to do because this just says equal or not equal. So, oh well, that's what happens when you don't read the directions. I didn't read them. Now we're going to write the missing decimals in on the number line. So you're just going up by 1/10. So this is 1 and 0 tenths. This is 1 and 1/10. This is 1 and 2/10. Do you see? You're just filling in all the way up. Round the decimal to the nearest tenth. That means you're looking at this place. You're starting right there on every number, and you're looking behind. So there's a 6 behind the 8. That means the 8 is going to go up. I keep all of the numbers in front and change the 8 to a 9. Okay, you know how to do these tables now. It's 3/10 of 6/10. So you color in the 6/10, color in the 3/10 the other way, write it in fraction form, and give me your answer. And then you have 3 word problems there below. Esther has 1 and 25 hundredths meter of blue ribbon, 2 and 89 hundredths of pink, 3 and 2/10 of white. How much does she have altogether? So what you're going to do is you are going to add those up, but you are going to make sure that your decimal stays in the same place. So you're going to and then when I do this last one, and you're going to add up that row straight down. If Esther cut the blue ribbon into 5 equal sections, how long would each blue ribbon be? So you're going to this one, take the blue ribbon and divide it by 5. If Esther cut the white ribbon into 4, how long would each section would be? So go to the white, cut it into 4. How much more white ribbon does Esther have than pink? Okay, so she has white ribbon, 3 and 2/10. She has pink, 2 and 89 hundredths. Now, to be able to figure this out, we are going to have to add a 0 here to this number to make sure that we can subtract well, because you can't just bring down that 9. You're going to have to subtract and borrow and make that a 10. Okay? All right, give me a number we did not go over together. Put the number on the comments. So say number 30, and give me the fraction form, or say number 44 and tell me how you rounded it. Give me something someone has not done. Have a good day.